Ladies, have you ever looked at a man, perhaps the man you dated or the man you've spent years with, and thought, why do men say they want love, but when I start giving it, they leave? Or maybe you've said to yourself, I'm loyal, supportive, caring, and I'll be there. Why isn't that enough? If you've ever felt this frustration, this confusion, this whisper in your mind, what do men really want? Then you're about to hear something that will change the way you understand men forever. Because honestly, no one tells women over 50 that men leave because you made a mistake. They leave because you didn't silently fulfill their desires. Not because you didn't want them, but because no one taught you what those desires truly were, because men don't talk about them. They hide behind pride, behind silence, behind the phrase, I'm fine, they use to avoid showing their vulnerability. What's most surprising is that these desires have nothing to do with age, beauty, competition, or great effort. They are simply emotional triggers unknown to most women, even the talented, wise, and experienced ones. In fact, 95% of women overlook these needs without realizing it. Not because they don't care, but because men don't understand them. But when a woman finally understands when she gives a man these three emotional elements, she becomes unforgettable. She becomes the woman he invests in, the woman he chooses, the woman he protects, the woman he loves and never wants to lose. Today, I'm going to reveal 3 difficult emotional needs that women don't meet for men. Once you understand them, everything will change. Ladies, I want you to listen to me with open hearts, because these are some of the most misunderstood emotional needs of men. Mature men who have lived long lives, started families, built careers, endured disappointments, and seen the world constantly change. Even in his 50s, 60s, and 70s, a man still feels that subtle, unspoken need to feel needed by the woman he loves. Not because he doesn't want her to stay, but because he can't bear to be alone. He simply can't. Many of you have been doing this for decades, but this is how a man connects with his needs in a meaningful way. This is how he feels connected, valued, and purposeful. This is how he defines your place in his life. Men today understand that women don't need someone to rescue them. You've built your own income, raised your children, managed your household, and learned to live life with a strength that most men deeply respect. The modern woman is independent, strong, wise, and experienced. But here's the paradox. Even a strong woman can make a man feel emotionally worthless, perhaps even intentionally. And when a man feels worthless, he'll withdraw. Not because he doesn't love you, but because he no longer feels you belong to him. A man doesn't want to diminish you or make you feel inadequate. He doesn't want you to give up your freedom or belittle your accomplishments. What he truly wants is to feel that you're making a small decision to allow him space. Whether that decision is big or small, you're allowing him to contribute to your life. It could be as simple as asking for his advice, letting him tweak something, valuing his perspective, or allowing him to help you. While you could easily and quickly do it yourself, you wouldn't be hurting his pride or giving him an emotional goal. Deep down, every man, even as he ages and his children grow up, still has a part of him that longs to feel powerful in your eyes. Even if he's not physically strong, he's emotionally strong. This might be the perfect time to ask him, what do you think about this? Or can you help me with this? Or I would be so grateful if you could do this. That moment says, you're the most important person here. Men also remain loyal in places where they feel important. Many women over 50 fall into the same trap without realizing it. They've been doing everything themselves for years. They're used to managing, organizing, leading, and solving problems. So they transfer that energy into relationships. But sometimes that energy subconsciously suggests to a man, I don't need you. Not through words, but through the very atmosphere of the relationship. The man begins to feel his role diminishing, and he withdraws quietly, emotionally, and unconsciously. This is why many women say, why are you so distant when I'm trying so hard to be strong and humble? Because humility isn't what men want. What he wants is influence, contribution, a place to occupy, and a way to see you. When he feels a change within himself, he becomes more loving, more open, and more expressive. He begins to invest emotionally, not because you asked him to, but because his heart senses its importance. Let me mention something else that's very touching. As a man ages, this need intensifies. A young man strives to prove himself to the world, while a mature man seeks validation from the woman he loves. At this stage of life, men don't need drama, tension, games, or power struggles. They still need to feel important and valued. Even if the world seems noisier, quieter, or lonely to them, you should still see the good in them. When a woman trusts him, allows him to contribute, expresses genuine appreciation, and shows him that he still brings meaning to her life, she awakens a side of him that many women don't see. She unleashes his protectiveness, loyalty, compassion, love, and commitment. Because a man with a purpose in life feels emotionally secure, which makes him worthy of love. So, the next time he offers help, don't ignore him. The next time he shares his perspective, support him. The next time he does something small, praise him profusely. Let him stand by you in his own way. Because when you make a man feel like your hero, not because he needs to be, he will always give you the love you deserve. If there's one thing women over 50 often don't get enough credit for, it's their emotional strength. You've gone through phases that have forced you to mature, adapt, persevere, and endure. You've had to keep families together, manage crises, disappointments, and heartbreak, and shoulder responsibilities that no one else could. You've learned how to communicate and express yourselves and your feelings, and how to navigate emotional ups and downs. But here's the problem. Despite your good understanding of expressing emotions, most men, especially those over 50, still fear intense feelings, not because they're indifferent, cold, or superficial, but because they've spent their lives avoiding anything resembling emotional conflict. This is where the misunderstanding begins. Men don't run from love. They run from emotional trauma, whether real or imagined. By the time a man reaches 50, he may be experiencing overwhelming emotional exhaustion. He might be in a relationship where communication has devolved into shouting matches with a partner who uses emotions as a weapon, or in a relationship where arguments are the norm. Perhaps he grew up in a home where weakness was punished, despised, or ignored. Perhaps he worked for decades in an unstable environment. That's when you begin to understand why the pressure to be strong, the expectation of a provider, a stable foundation, and psychological comfort are his deepest desires. At this stage of his life, he doesn't want drama, excitement, or emotional turmoil. He wants peace, not silence. He wants tranquility. He wants a woman who speaks without attacking, who expresses herself without exploding in anger, a woman who can disagree without being destructive, a woman who can bring joy to conversations, even uncomfortable ones. This doesn't mean you should suppress your feelings. This doesn't mean you should be overly cautious, nor does it mean you should suppress your true feelings. It simply means that your emotional well-being is more important than you realize. A man doesn't need emotional perfection. He needs emotional security. A man over 50 needs a partner with a solid emotional foundation, someone who can let go of the defenses he's worn for decades. But if he feels that every conversation is filled with pressure, accusations, and emotional turmoil, he'll never open up to it. And as he gets older, he tires of emotional conflicts, and this weariness makes him withdraw quickly when he feels conflicted. Think of it this way. Men don't give in to emotions. They are overwhelmed by a sense of responsibility for the feelings of others. The woman concludes, "You hurt me, and it's your responsibility to fix it." She begins, "I want us to get through this together." Men aren't afraid of feelings. They're afraid of failure. Emotional conflict is one area where their relationship can crumble. Therefore, a woman who achieves inner peace remains in his memory. Not because she doesn't express her frustration or anger, but because she communicates in a way that makes him feel attacked or inadequate. The difference is between you saying, "You never listen to me. Can I tell you something? I want us to understand each other better," or that you don't care about my feelings, and that really hurts when you say it, and I want to tell you why, or that you always avoid conversations and we can talk about something. I promise I'm not here to argue. This tone, warm, calm, and welcoming, makes a huge difference to a man, because inner peace for men isn't the absence of feelings. It's a feeling of security, love, and respect. When a man meets a woman who speaks this way, he begins to relax in her presence. He lets go of his inhibitions. He opens up. He becomes more loving, more honest, and more open. He begins to share aspects of himself he hasn't shown anyone for years. He becomes more stable, more loving, and more self-aware. Men are not emotionally shallow. They are emotional thinkers. A woman who understands this will be the woman he finds attractive. She will be drawn to him when she sees him able to express his needs without hurting her, when he can discuss problems without making them worse, when he shows understanding instead of rushing to criticize, and when he brings warmth instead of creating tension. He feels comfortable and safe. Men don't leave places where they feel comfortable. You don't have to be nice all the time, avoid disagreements, or suppress any genuine feelings. All you need to do is show him that his emotional world is safe with you, that you won't hurt him in his moments of vulnerability, and that you won't make a fuss about things that can be resolved calmly and clearly. This shows your willingness to engage in difficult conversations with your presence, not by pressuring yourself. And therein lies the secret. When a man feels inner peace, he becomes the man women desire. He will be a companion, generous, expressive, loving, and effortlessly loyal. Because peace brings out the best in a man. And when you create this kind of emotional environment for him, he gives you everything he desires. There's a truth about men that no one talks about, but it affects all relationships, especially for men over 50. Men want to be loved, not just to love. This too is an unmet need. It's not that women are indifferent, but rather that they express love in ways that don't always translate into what men desire. Women, especially mature ones, demonstrate loyalty, care, tenderness, and emotional presence. But as beautiful as these expressions are, they don't answer the question that lingers in every man's mind. Do you still love me? Look, love is comforting, but desire is powerful. Love is constant. Desire is alluring. Love doesn't change. Desire is alive. A man may feel your love through your actions, your support, and your patience, but he will feel your desire through your eyes, your touch, your voice, and through your appreciation of him not just as a partner, but as a man. Men may not say it, but they crave it, and as they age, this need intensifies as their self-confidence wanes. When a man reaches his 50s or 60s, he begins to ask himself, am I still attractive? Do women still find me desirable? Do I still possess the masculinity I once did? Has age made me less appealing? He doesn't voice these questions. He jokes about his hairline, lifts weights, and laughs about his aching back, but behind all this joking is a deep-seated desire to feel loved, to feel that he still chooses you, and to feel proud of you. And here lies the painful part. Most women don't disappoint him. Instead, they express their love in a way he interprets as emotional comfort, not romantic pleasure. You can cook for him, walk beside him, support him, encourage him, spend time with him, and think, isn't that enough to show him I care? But men don't interpret this as caring. They interpret it as friendship. Caring for a man is something else entirely. It's about looking at him with admiration, complimenting him gently, touching him unexpectedly, getting a little closer, and saying a short phrase that makes him feel you're still there for him. Desire arises in small moments that make you feel masculine, attractive, and valued, not just emotionally, but physically and psychologically as well. Women over 50 often stop doing these things, not because they don't want to, but because life has made them cautious. Perhaps you've been hurt before. Perhaps your love wasn't truly appreciated. Perhaps you've learned to guard your heart. Perhaps you've been caring for others for so long that you've neglected your own emotional energy. Perhaps you've been single for years and forgotten the joy of flirting. Perhaps you're afraid of being too open or loyal, but here's what you need to understand. Don't stop expressing your desires. It will make you unforgettable. Men often lose confidence as they age, and they try to control their anxieties. A woman who is still attractive to him is a breath of fresh air in a world where older men often feel overlooked. He doesn't need grand gestures, but rather simple expressions of affection, like saying, "You still make me happy." A simple compliment like, "You look great today," can keep a man feeling optimistic for another week. A gentle touch on his chest while you're talking warms him up. A steady gaze on him for a moment rejuvenates him. A charming smile opens up horizons he hasn't explored in years. And saying, "I'm glad you're giving him a confidence he hasn't heard in 10 years, is the secret to true success. When a man feels desired, all aspects of the relationship automatically improve. He becomes more affectionate, more emotionally open, more attentive, more generous, and more romantic. When he feels desired, not just by you, but also by your tolerance or affection, he will begin to manifest in ways you never expected. Desire is the spark that ignites his masculine nature. It makes him feel alive, powerful, and not just your partner, but your husband. And when a woman over 50 brings that energy, it's absolutely wonderful, because men don't expect women their age to openly flirt with them, make the first move, admire them, or be attracted to them. So when you do that, you feel special, precious, indescribable. And here's something crucial. Desire isn't about sex, it's energy. A man can feel desire without undressing. Desire is felt through your gaze, your words, the way you approach him, your admiration, and even through the masculine expressions on your face. A woman who understands this, a woman who knows how to make a man feel chosen, how to make him feel valued as a man, how to make him feel desired, a woman who dedicates herself, invests, protects, nurtures, and never abandons him. Because love can captivate a man, but desire can captivate him too. And when she ignites that spark within him, when she remembers him, it continues to bring her joy. This gives you a level of love, commitment, passion, and emotional connection that will make you wonder why no one taught you this before. Ladies, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this message, it's this: men aren't complicated. They're incredibly complex, and their deepest desires remain hidden behind silence, pride, and emotional reserve for years. When you understand these three basic needs, the need to feel important, the need for emotional security, and the need to be desired, you won't just be another woman in his life. You'll be the woman he doesn't want to lose. Because a man isn't defined by beauty, comfort, or possessions. Stay where you feel alive, respected, accepted, and emotionally secure. The truth is, aging doesn't diminish your strength, it enhances it. Women over 50 possess unparalleled feminine power. You have wisdom, poise, emotional maturity, confidence, experience, and depth that younger women haven't witnessed in a long time. When these qualities align with a man's hidden desires, you become incredibly attractive. So, if you've ever wondered if your best years are over, let this be a reminder. Perhaps the most beautiful love story is still waiting for you. Perhaps the greatest commitment is yet to come. And you, the woman who has lived, loved, learned, and matured, are the woman a real man dreams of meeting. If this message touched your heart, moved you, or made you say, "This is exactly what I needed to hear today," don't forget to hit the like button, because this kind of content is the essence of YouTube. Subscribe to the channel to receive the next message, because we're just getting started. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Which of these three concerns surprised you the most? And which do you think men have hidden the most? Your opinion might inspire another woman like yourselves. Ladies, remember this: you're not old. It's not too late. You've passed the prime of your youth, but you're still in the prime of your lives. Any man who gets the chance to fall in love at this stage of his life is a lucky man.